Hey on the channel, I have the power to count down the top 10 Masters of the Universe origin figures of 2023.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another top 10 year-end countdown. And today, we're counting down my top 10 Masters of the Universe origin figures of 2023. I'm also going to grandfather in what we've seen so far from the cartoon collection. Sister line makes sense. Not putting WWE superstars in this list, however, for those keeping track at home. So just He-Man related figures in this top 10 list. And of course, as usual, this is my top 10 list, so it's not wrong because it's my list. But you can put your list in the comments down below. Make sure you put them in order. Start at number 10. Work your way to number 1 in the Masters Universe Origins line. A little bit of a transition period here. We've got rid of all the heavy hitters. Those came in years past. We've been filling out the collection here. Some special stuff, some new characters, and like I mentioned, the cartoon line coming in. And that's kind of where we're headed in 2024. We'll still have some origin figures. Of course, Mattel Creation exclusives. We got Eternia to look forward to in the spring next year. So there's still some meat left on the bone for this line here. And I'm very excited for this one. And this one is one of, if not the most nostalgic toy line I do collect. As I was a kid of the 80s, I grew up with my first action figure memories being He-Man figures. So they're playing a lot of hits from the get-go in this line for me. But this year, a transition year in a lot of ways, as I mentioned, but also a tough year for store pegs, store distribution on the Origins line. Really a lot of hits, but mostly misses as far as the pegs go. A lot of hard to get stuff, and most people ended up buying stuff from Paul Mart or Entertainment Earth or Big Bad Toy Store, as they just couldn't get past the old Naked Stratos on the store peg. So an interesting time, an interesting line, but a heck of a fun line at the end of the day, and that's why we're doing a top 10 here in this video. So get your list together, put it down, and let's kick off the countdown at number 10. All right, we kick off the He-Man top 10 countdown, of course, at number 10. And 10 starts us off with a little bit of a re-release, a little bit of repaint, but one that I feel did surpass the first version of this character in the Masters Universe Origins line. Who am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the controversial Manny Faces. A lot of people having a lot of headaches about this Manny Faces figure. Very, very hard to get this year for whatever reason. Amazon did finally start shipping those out, but a lot of people went to different places like the Paul Mart stores, like myself, early on to get this figure. And Paul Mart had a heck of a deal. He had a bunch of damaged carded ones for just normal price. That was a heck of a deal, and that's where I ended up getting my loose one from. So Manny Faces, an all-timer. One of the greats of the He-Man line, if you ask me. An all-time favorite of mine. Just like the color scheme on this one, and I like the extra heads on this one. A little bit better than the first release of Manny Faces we got. Just a very fun figure. A lot of people that collect this line probably didn't know about this figure if they're only seeing what they see on the store pegs. But this one, even though it was challenging, was a really fun figure, and that's why it comes in at number 10 in my top 10 countdown. All right, we're feeling fine at number 9. And number 9 is a rare 2-pack from the Origins line. It was a fan channel exclusive in 2023. I picked mine up at Big Bad Toy Store. Link in the description below as usual. But this was a fun pack, and it's a fun to get an army builder pack, especially something like this. What are we talking about? Well, it is the glow-in-the-dark skeletons from the Masters Universe Origins line. Very simple repaints between the two, but you know what? It works at the end of the day, and I am planning a big Eternia display setup in 2024, and these guys are going to be all over the place. I'm not opposed to getting a few extra of these in my collection, having these guys all over the terrain. Just very fun stuff. Of course, everybody loves skeleton action figures. Skeletor really writes itself. Very cool idea, very cool 2-set, a perfect fan channel exclusive, and that's why these bad boys are coming in at number 9. We're feeling great at number 8, and this number 8 figure was a childhood favorite of mine. Many hours of play as a kid, and one of the ones I really wanted in the Origins line in 2023, and this was the year to make this one happen. However, in a plot twist, he didn't get a solo release. He came with the Ground Ripper, Road Ripper, whatever you really want to call it at the end of the day. He came with that as a bit of a 2-pack. Of course, it is the man, the myth, the legend, the Mechacanic. Yes, Mechacanic, and it doesn't have the old bells and whistles with turn the body, the head goes up, but he did come with a second head, so you could display either look or get 2 of them, display both of them. But Mechacanic, an all-timer, kind of the B, maybe C-level heroes underneath the He-Man, Man-at-Arms, things like that. But boy, as a kid, I loved Mechacanic. He was a favorite of mine, and I was very happy to have him released here in 2023. So that's why he's coming in at number 8. The number 7 selection in the top 10 list was probably the most infuriating figure of 2023 for me, but man, is it a cool figure. And what happened with this one was, good friend of the channel, Midwest professional wrestling legend Gage Octane, him and I always help each other on these Mattel Creation exclusives, and we always order 3. That's the limit. And I need 1 min on card, I need 1 loose, he needs the same. We always get 1 extra for each other. That way, in case something happens, in case there's some mail shenanigans, the other one can at least get 1 of those figures. And this is the time I really needed help because, unfortunately, mine were lost in the mail. Mattel said, just keep waiting, keep waiting. A month or so went by, and I said, I can't wait anymore. They finally gave me my money back because there was no more to replace it, so I was very fortunate. We have that little system going on. And what am I talking about? An all-timer, a sleeper of the line. We're talking about old Frogmonger. Deep from the prisons of Castle Grayskull comes the Frogmonger, and in a plot twist, he's a good guy. Yes, he is, but a cool character, and one of those things that I think is cool about the Origins line, much like the skeletons we saw earlier, much like another character we'll see here in this countdown video, breathing new, fresh figures that were adjacent part of the line into this line, I think is a great idea. So Frogmonger made a lot of sense to me. A fun one to get, a perfect Mattel Creations exclusive. Wish I didn't have all the challenges in getting him, but I finally did, and that's why he comes in at number 7 in the top 10 countdown. Next up in the countdown, we're at the number 6 spot, and much like Frogmonger, this one was also a Mattel Creations exclusive, and I have to imagine in 2024, this one's going to be very expensive and very hard to get if it isn't already, but it's a 2-in-1 figure, so you know I had to get 2 loose and 1 on card. It is Lady Slither. You got her in her snake form and her regular form. Just a very, very cool figure. And I've said it in the review for this one. I see this snake form and I go to G.I. Joe. Get me Globulus. We got Nemesis. Don't call him Immortal. Let's call him Enforcer. We got him coming in 2024. Give me Globulus. Give me Pythona. Give me I Was Once a Man Cobra Commander. Let's get them all. Give me those figures, Hasbro team. Anyways, off that soapbox, but Lady Slither, an awesome figure. A deep cut, one that not everybody knows about, even myself included. Absolutely loved how this came out. I love the idea of a 2-in-1. Love the snake design here. Customizers have been having a lot of fun with this one, using the extra tails to make extra figures, things like that. I might try to get a different Snakeman figure and just use my extra tail for one of those just to create a different army builder character, something like that. So a fun one, a Mattel Creations exclusive, one that I definitely think will be one of the jewels of the line when things are all said and done. That's Lady Slither coming in at number 6. Like a young Bon Jovi, but a million times better, we've hit the number 5 spot. We're halfway through the countdown here. Make sure you put your list together. Make sure you put it in the comments down below. And of course, make sure you put them in order. That's the fun part. That is the hard part. But number 5, we're seeing a little bit of a pattern here. Once again, we go to Mattel Creations. We get a Mattel Creations exclusive, part of the Snakemen team. We got old Fangor, an all-timer, one of the best heads this year from the Origins team. Absolutely love the head, love the sword. The wrench, I guess he's kind of the handyman of the Snakemen, as we know, but a very regal-looking guy, a very dangerous-looking guy, and honestly a scary-looking guy with those big old teeth coming out here. Just a very fun figure, one of the coolest ones that we got from Mattel Creations in 2023, and that's why old Fangor coming in at number 5. We're sliding on the back half of the countdown as we've reached the number 4 spot in our He-Man Masters Universe Origins countdown for 2023. And number 4 goes back to childhood trauma. Well, not really, but when you're a kid and your parents say you can buy one figure, you get some tough choices out in the old toy aisle, especially when you're a little kid. And this is a figure I really wanted back in the day. I never did get, unfortunately, as I think I picked a G.I. Joe figure over this one, and the rest truly was history. But here we are in 2023, making things happen. And at number 4, from the Snake Men, comes Squeeze. Absolutely love the idea of the Squeeze figure. I love how different he is with these long, bendy arms. Just a figure that is very cool on its own. I love the snake reptilian head. Very creepy on this one. But these long arms give him so much personality. And talk about a shelf standout figure. This, out of all the collection, is one of the figures that stands out the most because it is so different. And different is fun. And that's what we got here with old Squeeze, or Squeeze, I think is how it's technically pronounced. Hate to offend the guy. But a very cool one. Love the long arms on him. Love the bright, vibrant colors. Just love everything about this figure. And that's why it's coming in hot at number 4. We're down to the final 3, and the number 3 selection honestly probably could have been number 1 for me, but there was some problems from prototype to actual figure in our hands, and this one is part of course, the brand new cartoon collection. This is one I got to hold the prototype of firsthand at San Diego Comic-Con. Now we got it in hand finally, and it's still an amazing figure, but it could have been a little bit better, and I'll explain here. But we're talking about the man, the myth, the legend, the Beast Man, one of my all-time favorite villains from the He-Man and the Masters Universe lines. Absolutely love this Beast Man, but man, if he was just a little darker orange, almost a little reddish, darker orange though for sure, like the prototype was. I think they missed it. It dumbed down the color. It's still very vibrant, still looks like the cartoon, just could have been a little bit better. And I honestly think if it was like that prototype I got to hold at San Diego Comic-Con, if that would have been the final form, he probably would have been my number 1 figure for this year. But unfortunately, or fortunately, still number 3, very respectable, is Beastman from the new Filmation cartoon Masters of the Universe line. Here we are at the number 2 spot. Oh my gosh, the final 2 Masters Universe Origin figures for the end of 2023, or I should say for the year 2023. And you can't have a He-Man in the Masters Universe collection without this guy. You can't have a brand new cartoon collection without this guy. Who's coming in at number 2? Well, it is one of the all-time great villains of all cartoons, all stories, all of 1980s fandom. It is Skeletor, the cartoon collection, with the classic cartoon face on this one. Absolutely a game changer. Absolutely a beautiful figure here. Love the vibrant purple colors. Love the Smurf blue skin. Love the Havoc staff, the power sword. And then, of course, the extra heads we got with him as well was pretty cool. But you got to go with the classic head on this one. Just an all-timer. I knew it would be good. I just didn't know it would be this good. And that's why Skeletor hitting up number 2 spot in the top 10 countdown, which leaves only 1 left. This might surprise some people. Stay tuned. We've arrived at the number 1 spot. As usual, make sure you get your list together. Make sure you put them in order. That is the hard part. And don't forget to subscribe to this very YouTube channel, as we got videos every single day, including a lot of best of year-end countdowns, and every single Thursday on the channel we do got a top 5 and top 10 countdown. So make sure you do subscribe to the YouTube channel. But here we are at number 1. This one might be out of left field for some people, but this was an all-time favorite character of mine as a kid. It was high on my most wanted list. I've been waiting for it, and we finally got it this year. There was some negatives. It was a store exclusive. It was a little bit higher price point, but boy, at the end of the day, it was still an amazing figure. And it was even funner this year as my wife joined me to unbox this figure on the channel. So that was an extra specialness to it, of course. But what is it? It's the Walmart exclusive. It is Mossman coming in at number 1, and much like Squeeze, looks different, feels different from everybody else. Mossman in that same exact category. An all-timer here with the flocking. I know good friend of the channel, Robo, he is not a friend of the flocking. We've talked about it at length. He's not a fan of that at all, and I get it. You like what you like, you don't what you don't, but man, I love a flock figure. I don't got any problems with it. I love how it feels different. It looks different. He looks like Swamp Thing, and Bigfoot had a child is what he reminds me of. And you know I love Bigfoot. I love Swamp Thing, so you know I love Mossman. Beastman gone furry is what he is, but an all-timer of a figure, and I'm still looking for a second one of these. I'm waiting to play a little of that long game, Gonna get a second one so I can display both looks on the Mossman figure. But Mossman, an all-timer out there, got a gimmick that's worked for him for 40 plus years at this point. Just a very fun figure, and there was no doubt he was going to be number one in my top 10 list, and that's where he landed at the number one spot. So there it is, the number one figure of 2023 for the Masters Universe Origins line, Mossman, Walmart exclusive. And that leads it once again. Put your list in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the old notification bell. And don't forget about Patreon. Of course, the best way to support this very YouTube channel and all the content it does bring. You can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. And don't forget social media. Sir Paul64 on the X. The _Kyle_Peterson on Threads and on Instagram. So for Masters of the Universe Origins, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.